Conservative new media viewers and NBA fans around the world, what is up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to give a quick post-game analysis after the Miami Heat beat down the visiting Indiana Pacers 99-87 in South Florida in Game 3 of the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals. And let me just say before we get started, Indiana's in real trouble now. And it's not because they're only down 2-1 in the series. They are in big trouble. What happened in this game was that Indiana came out guns blazing. They looked great early. Looked like they were going to give Miami everything they wanted and then some. First quarter, they outscored the Heat by 7 points, and it could have been even worse than that. They were getting whatever they wanted to get. Miami didn't show up for the first quarter. They were out of it. And the Pacers went up by as many as 15 points midway through the second. And they got up 14 points in the first. So Miami was in big trouble early in this game. And it started to look like Indiana was just going to take control. Indiana has outplayed Miami in the first two games of this series, even though Miami won the second game. Miami had to kind of steal the second game late in the game. But Indiana was in control for most of that game and looked like we were just going to keep going that way. And maybe Miami could find a way to steal it, and maybe they couldn't. But then everything began to change in the second quarter. And from the second quarter on, Miami took total control, not only of the game, but of the series. Miami outscored the Pacers by 3 in the second quarter, and then they outscored them by 11 in the third quarter, and they finished them off by outscoring the Pacers by 5 points in the fourth and final quarter. The Heat were led by LeBron James, 26 points, 5 boards, 7 assists. Dwayne Wade, 23 points, and Ray Allen had a monster fourth quarter. He finished with 16 points overall, including 13 points in the fourth quarter on 4 of 4 three-point shooting. Now, the reason why I say that the Pacers are in trouble is because it looks like Miami has figured them out. Now, Miami is not going to shoot 56% from three-point range every night like they did tonight, just like the Pacers aren't going to play as well as they played in Game 1. So every game's not going to look like this. On the other hand, it now appears as though Miami knows they can beat this team when they want to beat them. What I mean by that is no matter how much they get down, they just kind of slowly reel them in. Except for that first game. Miami wasn't ready to play in the first game. Indiana came out incredibly hot. They hit everything. And Miami just wasn't ready to do it. They weren't. Their defense wasn't dialed in. Well, now it is dialed in. Now they're ready. They want to get back to the finals. Roy Hibbert was excellent early in this game. David West was excellent early in this game. They were really bullying the Heat down in the low post. But it didn't matter. This is what I'm saying is it seems as though Miami has solved Indiana. And that's very, very bad sign for the Pacers. The one thing that was good for the Pacers tonight was that their bench played well. Their bench scored 23 points, which is a whole bunch more than what they scored in the first two games, I believe. They didn't even show up in the first two games. And the Pacers still lost by 12 points. So the Pacers did a lot of what they wanted to do, and they still got beat down. And that's just not a good sign. Now, again, Indiana only shot 29% from 3 tonight, and that will improve. There will certainly be better nights than that. But I really feel like this is the game where the Heat sees total control. And Indiana's going to have to come with everything in game number 4. And I'll tell you this, if they lose that game, the series is essentially over. If you go down 3-1 in a series in a best of 7 in the NBA, I can't remember the percentage. It's like, 92% of the teams that are up 3-1 win it. So the Pacers in the last 2 years that they faced Miami in the playoffs, in each of those years, they were able to win one game in Miami. And that's what they need to do in game number 4. For Miami, I love where Miami is at. As I said, I do think Miami has solved Indiana. They've gained a comfort level of what they need to do, and they're starting to feel like they can do it when they want to do it. That's not good for Indiana. Indiana worked all year to get home court advantage. And we know they talked about how if they would have had the 7th game in Indiana last year, they would have won it. Right now, I don't think we're going to get to a 7th game. So if we're going to get to a 7th game, Indiana's going to have to come with everything they have in game number 4. And it's going to be tough. And Miami will be favored. And look, I mean, you got the 2-time defending champions down 17 points on their own home court in the middle of the second quarter. You can't close it out. Not only can you not close it out, you lose by 12 points. That's not good. The problem for Indiana is that they will go on offensive lulls. They just hit a dry spell, even when they're not playing a great defense like Miami. But when you take that tendency and then you throw it against a great defense like Miami's can be, then you got a real problem. So I think that Miami, they're feeling good, and they should be feeling good. This is probably the most comfortable Miami has felt against Indiana in the last 2 years, regular season or playoffs. They've gotten a handle on what they need to do. And LeBron talked about it with Doris Burke right after the game. Doris asked him something like, how have you guys solved this? And LeBron said something about moving Indiana's defense side to side, getting the proper spacing so that there's driving lanes. And it's working now. And they've adjusted. And, I mean, Chris Bosh didn't do anything in this game. He's just not good against Indiana, and he still won by 12. So I like where the champs are at. I like it a lot, and I think there's a very good chance they're going to win game number 4. And if they win it, as I said, that's pretty much lights out for Indiana. You saw Roy Hibbert late in the game on the bench. He had that look like, what's going on? Can't believe this is happening again. So if you're a Pacers fan, hang in there. Hang in there. You can still accomplish what you need to do if you win game number 4. All of this can go away if you get game number 4. But the boys are going to have to come with everything. And they're going to have to sustain it for 4 quarters. 1.5 quarters is not enough. Not enough against this team. This team, the Heat is seeking a three-peat, and they can smell it now. At least they can smell the finals. So we will see what happens in game number 4. This was an interesting game. It was fun. Look, I just got to give the Heat credit. They're a tough team. They don't quit. They know they can win. They have a lot of confidence, and it's well-founded, and they got it done. And finally, Dwayne Wade looks good, man. His knees look good. So all the resting they did with him the whole year, it's working. He is peaking at the right time. And if he is able to maintain this level through this round and possibly the next round, they're going to be very tough to beat. Although I do think that the Spurs, if they get there, are going to be a handful for Miami if Miami gets there. So there's no give me three-peat here. If the Spurs end up going against Miami, Spurs are probably going to be favored and probably should be favored. Okay, that is it for now. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Your comments below. In the video description below the video player, I will put information for video highlights of this game, so you can check those out if you have not had a chance to see the game. Again, I am Paul F. Villarreal, PFV, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We are having a whole bunch of fun, just like you guys are, watching the NBA playoffs. This is the best time of year if you're a basketball fan. As most of you know, I'm a huge basketball junkie. I love this stuff. Finally, we encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 3,000 members and counting. You will find information for that in the video description as well. Take care, everybody. I hope you're having a great night or a great day wherever you are around the world when you listen to this podcast/video. We will talk to you soon. Looking forward to the Spurs and Oklahoma City game number 3 tomorrow. Looking forward to Miami versus Indiana game 4 coming up on Monday here in the United States.